Good morning, and welcome to our Unitarian Universalist Cooperative Summer Worship Series for 2020. I'm Kendall Gibbons, Senior Minister at the All Souls UU Church in Kansas City, Missouri. When our congregations pivoted suddenly to online worship back in March, in response to the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, we all had to invent new formats and adapt to new technologies instantly. Many of our ministers and tech staff and volunteers rose to the occasion with great creativity and skill. Now, during our traditional summer break and study time, we take this opportunity to share our discoveries and learn from each other through a series of virtual visits to Sunday services with a cluster of our neighbor congregations. Through the gift of online worship, you will hear from some of our newest up-and-coming young preachers and some of our wisest senior colleagues. You will experience how a variety of congregations have embraced the challenges of these new formats. And our sound, video, and streaming tech folks will enjoy a little well-deserved time off. Look for our separate community online gatherings to resume in September. We hope that today's message will rouse your spirit and resonate with your soul.
Hi from Smooch. I'm Reverend Rose, the minister of Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church in Lenexa, Kansas. We are so honored to be invited to be part of your worship service. Now, many of the churches that are participating in the summer service series produced a worship service especially for this purpose. But we at Smooch made a service last April that was so meaningful to us that we think its message is still relevant today. So we hope that we bring you some hope, joy, and perseverance on your journeys towards healing and recovery. And we hope that we'll see you in person soon. Stay safe.
Welcome to Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church.
Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here.
Hi, we're the Naps. I'm Alex, this is Rebecca, and this is Miles, and we think that the best way to stay happy and healthy during this time of crisis is to stay connected with your friends, with your loved ones, and with your communities. And when in doubt, listen to scientists.
We miss you.
We extend to you all a warm welcome. If you are new to Smooch and want to get to know more about our church, please fill out our Get in Touch form using the link in our video description. For all joining us online this morning, feel free to start posting your joys and sorrows now. And now, a few announcements from our minister.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Rose, the minister of Smooch. It is a joy to see you and an honor to be broadcast to your homes. Today's service is about addiction, self-harm, and self-destruction. Now, every single human being experiences mental health issues, self-loathing, and counterproductive coping skills. But to broaden this topic too much would lose some of the important specificity that is needed to truly talk about these very serious issues. Thus, we acknowledge that there is a difference between habits that are unhealthy and habits that might kill you. That said, the messages in this service are for all, and we hope that these stories of human resiliency that you will hear today inspire you towards living braver, more thoughtful, and healthier lives. Please join us for our opening hymn, number 1028, The Fire of Commitment. From the light of days remembered, burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and souls ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise
Please join me as we light our chalice and affirm that love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another. Throughout this service, we will be listening to short messages of resiliency in the face of addiction. Please enjoy.
My name is Kendall, and I'm in recovery. My journey through recovery has involved radically redefining my relationships with friends and family, my relationship to alcohol, my relationship to myself. And while that was really difficult initially, I'm slowly experiencing the fruits of that effort, in that I feel I'm able to be more present with myself and with others, and experience self-acceptance and acceptance of others in times when it had previously felt impossible. Recovery has also taught me that disaster knows no scale. It can be as large as a global pandemic or as small as a stubbed toe that ruins your whole day. And for me, getting through those struggles, whether it's pain or heartbreak or frustration, is a process of learning how to let go of resistance and giving myself permission to let those feelings run their course.
In recovery, I would say before I began my journey in recovery, life was like the upside down world in Stranger Things. I was there, but not really. I couldn't really interact with people that I love or really be myself. And that's what life is like in active addiction. So yes, needless to say, life is much better now that I'm not there. And I forgot this next part. Oh, default. A default of discouragement. That's my struggle today, I would say, is just the mindset that goes to discouragement first. And so challenging that has been key to my success in life. As far as encouragement goes, I would say take baby steps towards wanting more. You know you want more. You wouldn't be watching these videos if you didn't want more for your life. But also think about baby steps. When a baby is learning to walk, they don't daintily put one foot in front of the other. They are running after that stuff, falling down and getting back up like nothing matters. A lot of times that default of discouragement. We fall and then we're like, forget it. It can't happen. But the truth is that it can happen, and it will happen if you just keep with them baby steps. It happened for me.
My name is Arlo, and I'm in recovery. Sobriety to me has been it's been like coming up for air. It has been a complete game changer in my life, and has opened the door to a new love that I never knew I could have for myself. I have been able to achieve and love life more than I ever imagined possible. And I'm extremely grateful for that.
Stars shining bright above you, night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in a sycamore tree, dream a little dream of me. Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me. while I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries far behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
This is the time in our service where we expand the love of our community. I invite you into this moment by putting your feet flat on the floor, drawing your awareness to your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, coming into a moment of stillness. We give our love to those untangling themselves from relationships that no longer serve them. We grieve for the loss of energy and time that chronic illness takes upon the body and mind, and our hearts go out to all who are struggling to make ends meet, especially right now. We extend our gratitude to people who make caring for children their primary spiritual practice, and we join in wonder with all people who are bravely facing their final days. We think of all for whom the messages from the White House are deeply troubling and unnerving, and for all the people who acted on false medical advice this week. We ask for ethical leadership from our government, and dare we ask for compassionate, thoughtful, intelligent, visionary leadership? Yes, we do dare. Lastly, we think of the earth, our beautiful earth. We ask for repair, rest, and a great clearing of pollution and freneticism. May we find a way out of no way to create a more sustainable way of life. And as always, we rejoice over the exquisite beauty in this world, as small or life-changing as each piece of beauty might be. Please comment in the comment section of the live chat your joy or your sorrow. Remember, this moment of sharing happens online and remains public for all viewers joining us today. Let us become mindful again, deepening your breath, letting all of the stress, the changes, melt away for this one moment, to offer yourself this gentleness, this kindness. Just draw your attention to your breath, noticing how it feels. You can breathe deeply into your belly like a balloon filling slowly with water. And when you breathe out, like it's coming out of a spout at your heart center. Drawing your attention to your hands, noticing what they're touching. Drawing your attention to how your breath feels on your rib cage, on the tip of your nose. Today I bring you the Serenity Prayer, which was written not specifically for addiction, although it has been adopted by many addiction programs. But it was written by Reinhold Niebuhr, a theologian who had had a massive stroke, which left him unable to do most things except write. Please join us for a moment of breathing, followed by his words. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just take this moment to let go, just letting go of the things you cannot change. You cannot change the future. You cannot change this pandemic. You cannot change whether people live or die. You cannot control your brother, your sister, your child. Just let it go, and instead come into your body and see what you can change. See what beautiful and glorious self you have, and remember your own empowerment. And now we will listen to a few more testimonies.
Hi, my name is Ryan Peters, and I'm in recovery. My sobriety date is 11/29/89. Since that period of time, I've been able to live a life that I never would have dreamed of. I've seen some good times and some really hard times, but through it all, I've been able to raise a family, have several different careers, and continuing to live the life of a dream that I would have not have dreamed of. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Pius, and I'm in recovery. Life has become better for me when I'm in recovery because I've been able to discover who I really am and more deeply connect with myself in ways that I never have been able to do before. I've also been able to connect with others more and build lasting relationships. It took me a while to do that, but it's been one of the most rewarding parts. When I still struggle with addiction, I remember that I can take things one day at a time, or 1 hour at a time, or 15 minutes at a time if I need to. It helps to remember that things do pass, and eventually I can always make it to the other side. I also try to remember the ways that I've become a person that I like more now that I'm in recovery, and remember what I value the most.
Hello, my name is Tay and I'm in recovery. I just finished 4 weeks sober from alcohol, and things I've noticed, safer, easier to take care of myself, less anxiety, things just don't bother me as much. I don't know. It's just easier. It's easier to stay in motion. I don't know if that makes sense because, I've been pacing around a lot. I'm sure some of you have as well. But when it's hard for me, I try to just take things an hour at a time. So, I think about what I'm actually needing and just try to eat and stay organized and write when I'm like really needing to, It's exciting because I'm developing new habits. Thanks.
Lucy Hone, who is a human resiliency expert, spoke in a TED Talk about the trials she underwent after the loss of her beautiful, vibrant 12-year-old child in a sudden car crash. She says, "You can rise up from adversity. There are strategies that work. It is utterly possible to make yourself think and act in certain ways that help you navigate through tough times." There are 3 strategies that I relied upon in my darkest days. First, resilient people get that stuff happens. When tough times come, they seem to know that suffering is part of the human experience. Second, resilient people are really good at choosing carefully where they select their attention, managing to stay focused on the things they can change and somehow accept the things that they can't. Being able to switch your attention is vital and a learnable skill. Third, resilient people ask, is what I'm doing helping or harming me? I asked it again and again during my grief. I had to ask myself, should I go to the trial and see the driver? For me, it was a no-brainer. Late at night, I'd find myself poring over photos, and then I'd ask myself, really? Is this helping or harming me? Put away the photos, go to bed, and be kind to yourself. Asking yourself whether what you are doing, the way you are thinking, is harming you, puts you back in the driver's seat. It gives you some control over your decision making. In response to this reading, Reverend Rose and the regional representative of Smart Recovery recorded a conversation. SMART is a secular addiction program, and Wendell is an exceptional lay leader in our addictions ministries.
And now we will have a video from Wendell Smith, congregant of Smooch, who is also the regional coordinator for Smart Recovery.
Smart Recovery is a organization that helps people deal with addictive behaviors, such with substance issues like alcohol or drugs, and also behavioral issues. Set up around 4 principles, and the first one is motivate. It's building and maintaining motivation, and the second one is coping with urges, managing thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And that's where I feel like this fits in.
And so I'm just wondering, why did you choose this reading?
Well, I stumbled across this TED Talk when I was actually researching something else. It basically talks about accepting things you can't control, things you can't change, and changing things that you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And a really good example, as you mentioned, was the Serenity Prayer by Reinhold Niebuhr. Fits right in with a lot of cognitive behavior therapies, and this is asking yourself, is what I'm thinking right now or what I'm doing right now, does it make sense? Is it true? And is it helpful? So this is a main focus of Smart Recovery as well. And so this is how I found that, where I ran across it, and I was like, wow, this really describes a lot of what we do. Wow, she's talking about the ABCs.
What do the ABCs stand for?
ABC is the A is the activating event or the adversity. Okay, so it could be activating event, adversity. So something happened. Someone cut me off in traffic. The B is my belief or my thoughts about the activating event. What was I thinking? What was I telling myself about what happened? And the C is consequence. And usually it's when we talk about it, it's the emotional consequence. So I became enraged, or I'm having some sort of unhealthy negative emotion, like anxiety or shame or anything like this.
That's very compassionate. It's a very compassionate practice to ask you about yourself. You know, it's very, I appreciate how much it's focused on the self as what's in your hula hoop. But in that, it's not just what am I doing wrong, but it's, is this good for me or not? And allowing that to be kind of a litmus test too. And do you have any words of encouragement to people who are struggling right now with their addiction or self-destructive behaviors?
It's important to recognize, important to process bad things that are happening to us, and making sure that we're not denying reality. But when I accept something, that isn't the same as I approve of the circumstances or of my own behavior or someone else's behavior. So I think understanding the difference between acceptance and approval is key. Once I was able to set that difference, once I was able to frame that difference, it made a lot of difference for me.
It's so nice to see you. I've admired your work for a long time, Wendell. It means a lot. It means a lot to our church, and it means a lot to the community. So I hold you in great respect. Here in quarantine, new truths are coming to light. This experience has stripped away the fluff and noise, and we are left with what Theodore Parker called self-culture. We are stuck with ourselves in ways that we weren't before. And for those of us who are isolated, it may be that the only other face we see is the one in the mirror. But for all of us, we are being given the harsh offering of difficult times. These are times where we must work deeply on accepting the things we cannot change. We are invited to turn towards reality, look at it for what it is, and sit in that white, hot fire of the truth, to accept that we are utterly flawed and saintless, that we cannot change our past, or that one is an addict. We cannot change that the earth needs repair, or that we are in a global pandemic which is spreading grief and exposing not just cracks, but chasms in our systems. We cannot change that we are being given the harsh offerings of difficult times. But how do we move through these difficult times well, with freedom even? This is a question especially for those of us who are struggling with addiction, mental health issues, or relational issues, all of which are on the rise. Well, there are things that we can do, and one is something extremely simple. It's almost too easy. And this is to gain the wisdom, the discernment, to know the difference between the things we can change and cannot change. Now, this discernment can seem like a tricky landscape, but it is actually ever so simple. As simple as leaning down and drawing a small, wise circle of chalk all around ourselves. And along the outside of the curve, write in big capital letters, cannot control. And then along the inside of the curve, writing, can control. Because to accept that the majority of things are things that we cannot change, this is something entirely powerful. This doesn't just take serenity, this takes humility to realize that of the whole wide world out there, all that's in your control is inside of your hula hoop, that a boundary is as much about keeping yourself in as keeping others out. Now, this image might feel claustrophobic, but there is a freedom in that small, wise circle around ourselves. For when we do let control of what's outside of our hula hoop, our sphere of responsibility just got way more manageable. We're freed up to finally work on the things that we can change. Because if the world out there is not how we would wish it, there is something right here that we can mold into what we want. There is someone right here whose only fighting chance at life is in your hands. There is a somehow right here. Besides, what you've got in that small, wise circle is enough. What you've got going on is plenty. You've got a self-culture, and it might be high time for a culture shift. Because couldn't we all spend some time asking ourselves the following questions? How do I react to adversity? How do I take on other people's emotions? Is this mine? Is this helping me? Is this harming me? For when we make choices about how we interact with this world, when we trust that small, wise circle of chalk, this is when we find the courage to change the things we can. This is when we come to our fuller potential. This is when we become differentiated leaders. This is when we spiritually align. This is when our honest, beating hearts sing out that sweet courage to change the world for the better, to be what we know we want it to be what we want and what we need for ourselves and for the world. Because if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? If you can't care for yourself, how are you going to bring your joyful, revolutionary, intelligent, and powerful changes about? This untangling ourselves from relationships that no longer serve us starts with that small, wise circle, that wisdom to know the difference. Now, that final piece of the Serenity Prayer, it's not actually the end of the prayer. So in closing, I will read you the full poem, the full prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as the pathway to peace, taking this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that all things will right if I surrender, that I may be reasonably happy in this life. Amen, and blessed be.
This song is inspired by my own recovery, and I hope that it helps you crack a smile today. Haters. Don't let the haters get you down. Don't get taken down by their frowns. 'Cause all a hater wants to do is hate on you. Don't buy the haters' lies. Just pass them by. Bye, 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 bye. 'Cause all a hater will rise up in their glory to double shine on you. And the birds will all remember the very moment that you knew to never let the hater become you. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please join us in the closing hymn, number 118, This Little Light of Mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Building up a world.
Building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Last time, this little light.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
As you go out into the world this week, practice radical acceptance, radical self-love, and practice, above all else, resiliency. But don't take my word for it. Here is a digital benediction, words of encouragement from these brave and powerful souls who are testifying to the resiliency of the human spirit.
Is number one, to exercise, roller skate, dance, do whatever you have to do to move your body and feel how alive it is.
Everything does pass. You're worth discovering who you can be sober. You're worth new experiences, happiness, and feeling grounded and connected.
Just to reach out to the people that surround you. Surround yourself with people who are there on your journey and who are there to help you.
Please continue trying to create a life that you feel like you don't need to escape from. Sometimes have to weather the storms to appreciate the sunshine. And I think I never understood and appreciated that as much as I do now. So keep going. You got this.
And a piece of advice that's really helped me is to remember that you can go down the river clawing at the water, or you can go down the river with your hands open and your eyes open and let go of the struggle. You can surrender, and you can surrender with agency.
Stick around for online fellowship hour. The link is in your weekly email from church.